Okay, let's go. Welcome to the Cold Coffee Show. Hey, the Cold Coffee Show. Hey,
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 Cold
yeah,
Coffee Show.
the Cold Coffee Show.
hey.
Mm.
Right.
Mm.
Okay, I want to open up by paying respect and regard to the families in Parkland, Florida,
Florida.
where
Oh
they
yeah.
had this Valentine's Day. They had the awful massacre
Mm.
at the high school,
Right.
Douglas High School, where the young man Nicholas Cruz.
Mm.
Um, he did a terrible thing. He did a terrible act, and he murdered 17 high school students. Yeah, 17 high school students. And they keep mentioning the 17, but he also shot an extra 15 where they were
Mm.
wounded. He
Wow.
wounded them. They survived, but yeah, they just keep mentioning the 17, which is odd to me. I would think they would
Talk
mention,
about all the victims.
right.
It's
But
just unfortunate, man. Whatever this guy's going through to take these innocent people out, shady, man.
well, what happened is they say, well, yeah, he was suspended from the school. Well, he was expelled from the school a year ago,
A year ago.
and then his mom passed away in November,
Mm.
and so he was homeless. And one of his schoolmates, the family took him in, and this was about 3 months ago. The family took him in, and they also knew that he had the AR-15, the assault
The
rifle,
gun.
but it
Yeah.
was locked away, and they said he could have it as long as they lock it away. But
Mm-hmm.
he had the key. He had the key
Oh,
to the
wow.
to the weapon. And so, but at any rate, and then they also say, it was on his social media that he
Right.
wanted to kill the police.
Right.
Yeah.
Really?
And what did you found some where someone reported it, right? Some.
Oh yeah. So it was reported January 5th that someone close to him talked to the FBI. It was like, don't quote me on the FBI, but basically it was some type of higher up, and they could have stopped it. They could have prevented it because it was reported, and they said that it was reported about his gun ownership, his desire to kill people, his erratic behavior, disturbing social media posts, and the possibility of shooting the school.
Wow.
Mm.
Been warned, so they didn't follow protocol, and now, I mean, it's kind of hard to take somebody serious, but in the times that we're in right now,
Right.
our current situation, you gotta take it. You gotta take it serious.
Considering
Yeah.
all the other mishaps, all the other massacres, because that's what they were, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Um,
Yeah. So he should have been classified as. It should have been assessed as a potential threat to life.
Right.
correct, correct. And anytime you're dealing with mental health, that needs to be taken seriously.
Right.
And they said that he was depressed. The family knew that he was depressed. I don't know. You can kind of say, well, why did the family allow him to have access to that, even though it was his weapon? But that should have been really looked at as opposed to saying, hey, lock it up and it's good.
Right. And I read that a video blogger from Mississippi named Ben Bennett, and he said that he's age 36, and it was a comment on his page that it said, "I'm going to be a professional school shooter."
Whoa.
So it's like, you
Oh,
know,
wow.
his
Oh,
what is
wow.
it? His digital footprint, excuse me, is it shows he has a track record
Exactly.
of threats.
And they went ignored, and they went unnoticed or ignored. How about that?
Yeah.
Ignored.
But so many people call bluff though.
And
Yeah, they do. They do. But again, in the wake of all this tragedy, you can't take that lightly.
You can't, but think about all the wasted time. I mean, I'm not saying anything wrong. They should have did it, but I'm just saying I understand why in certain situations, like, man, we hear this all the time. Okay, nobody's really about to do anything, but it is your job. You are federally funded, and you getting your money. This is what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and what's crazy also with the weapon, purchasing the weapon, you only have to be 18 to purchase a handgun.
Right.
and 21 to purchase the. Sorry, let me take that back. Well, let me keep on going because in Florida you can be 18 to purchase the handgun, and you can be 18 to purchase the AR-15. But in other states, you have to be 18 to purchase the AR-15 and 21 to purchase a handgun.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
That's amazing.
Wow.
I mean, nobody's just gonna walk around with an assault rifle.
You don't go hunting with an assault rifle. There's only one purpose to have an assault rifle.
Right. So you know what I'm
It's
saying. But
against-
people will
to
walk
use
around with a
against other
handgun.
people.
Well, yeah, I guess because it's smaller and you can conceal
But it's still though, they still a weapon. You should
It's a very dangerous. I mean, they're all dangerous, but an assault rifle.
a powerful weapon.
Yeah.
An assault rifle only serves one purpose.
Mm.
Yeah.
And it is not you don't buy an assault rifle for protection. You may buy a handgun,
For protection.
for protection,
Right.
in the event,
Right.
something
I
happens
know a
to
couple
me.
cats that has a assault rifles for protection.
Yeah.
I bet you
In
do.
the hood.
Yeah.
I bet you do.
Neck
Maybe
of
they
the
have a
wood.
lot of things they need to be protected
Oh,
from,
yeah.
though. But
Yeah.
I
on
know what you're saying.
average,
The actual cause.
the average,
The
yeah.
reason.
Yeah.
You
yeah.
only think
They
you're going to
pack
have to
that heat.
shout something once in life.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Shout out to Gun Range James.
Right.
Huh.
High gun range, James. But but the
Gun
thing,
range.
it's a shame that the youth have to experience such a tragedy. They talked to one of the young girls who was in a room next to her. Well, this is what she said. He went down the hallway. He shot two people in the hallway. Then he shot through the glass in the classroom. He hit a few people behind her. Her name was Samantha Grady, young lady in one of the classrooms. And her friend, she said she was on the computer and she wanted to show her friend something on her cell phone. So she pulled it out and her friend pushed her to the side because she heard, sometimes you're not aware if you're doing something else. Because I know, like, when it's shooting in a club, I'm the first to run.
Yeah.
I'm the
yeah.
first to run. And my friends are looking at me. I'm like, y'all better come on. And they learned. They started following. Anytime I took off running.
They
Let's
ran.
go home.
I
I'm not getting hit.
Yeah, so
I guess I didn't go to the same
will not
club
be a
you guys. I
statistic.
never.
Yeah, you.
I
probably
never had
did.
to run.
Yeah, no, I had to. I've been in a couple of situations at the Off Plaza. Somebody had a assault rifle, and they
Wow.
and
I
I'm
had
under the not the table, but it was like a bar at the window kind of thing, and I was under there, and people were like, "Yeah, you better come on."
That's them early '90s.
Oh yeah.
That's them
Yeah.
early '90s.
Yeah.
That's that Tupac era. They were shooting back then.
I
They
think
were.
that was a situation too. When my daughter was in high school, I was in a high school auditorium at a basketball game, and then somebody yelled "shooter," and there was like a kid next to me, and I grabbed the kid, put the kid down, and I'm covering the kid,
Yeah.
and I'm going, "Shit, that's not my kid," you know.
Yeah, that was
my
instinct,
daughter.
right? That was that parental instinct, that mother. Yeah, but back to Samantha Grady. So she said she showed her friend the video, or was about to, and her friend pushed her, and they went behind like a cabinet. The other student had already pulled a cabinet to block the bullet. She did get grazed, the young girl Samantha. But unfortunately, her friend died.
The one that rescued her.
The one that saved her. So she's going to have to deal with that for the rest of her life. It wasn't her fault, but that's just like your friend that you were just talking to, like, sharing a funny situation or whatever it is, a time.
Right. It's unfortunate.
I
And
think
she's
that the
gone.
question always comes up in schools too, is like, what is the obligation of the school? And I mean, the focus is always on making the state standards on test scores, getting them college ready, and then it's like, okay, the morality and all of this is supposed to be taught by the parents, but who has that child more? The school does,
Right.
And it's like, one has to ask, what should we make as an obligation to the school on addressing issues of that child's mental health, and really programs to help these kids
Well,
and the first signs of any turmoil.
I tell you, Barbara, and we did not introduce our guest today,
Yeah.
Barbara.
Barbara Tarina,
Yeah, Barbara Tulina. And go ahead, keep on going.
Tony Sparks,
Glamis, Rory.
Glamis, Rory.
Big Smooth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I tell you, Barbara, they do have all of these things in place. They're not utilizing them. And this
Right.
is something that I've witnessed in the San Francisco Unified School District. They have all these assisting mechanisms to help these children make it through.
Right. Well, I mean,
And they're
even
not utilizing. Well, they utilize them for some children. Let me say that.
right. I mean, as a nurse, I know that there used to be a school nurse assigned to every school, and now that school nurse is traveling.
Yep.
She may see that she may have 6 or 7 schools that she's rotated throughout the district. So, when I was young, everybody knew who the school nurse was, right?
Sure, of course.
But not now. They're just rotating
Well,
around.
because I'm at the school all the time. I was there, and gentleman, I noticed him earlier in the day, and we caught eye contact, and I'm like, "I'm sorry, who are you?" He was the school nurse.
Wow.
That's insane.
That you don't. That they didn't let
Where
you
my
know.
daughter attends school,
Right.
I don't even know the school nurse. And so last year they had a school nurse. This year is just random.
Nurses.
Random.
Yeah.
It just happened.
Wow.
Yeah, right.
I mean,
I know 2 comics in our community here that were in a similar situation where they were in high school
Okay.
and they witnessed, they were either part of a mass shooting or they witnessed a friend getting killed.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah.
Oh my Lord. How do they talk about it on stage, or is it?
No, they never. Well, one does. One of them, the guy that was in the mass shooting, he talks about it on stage,
Okay.
but really rarely.
Okay.
The other one of the other ones, he doesn't ever say anything about it. But it does have a very lasting effect on people who might have been in another room,
Sure.
who might have just been at the school.
Or even hearing.
Yeah.
And not actually in that particular situation, but just hearing.
Yeah.
no matter what, that situation is going to be traumatizing for every single person that's involved.
Yeah. I just hope that.
No matter what. Like you said, even if they just hear it. Like, oh, I could have been in that room. What if I went to the bathroom that?
Yeah. And I hope that young lady, along with all the other children, Samantha Grady, I hope that they can come out of it and be okay. Right now she's talking through it, but she doesn't understand. She the initial is,
And loss like that, or and shock, it affects everyone differently.
yes, it does, and that's what. Yeah,
Everyone differently.
yeah. So again,
And at that age, in high school, junior high, every emotion is multiplied times 10.
Right.
Even the trauma of your shoes not looking right,
right, or even dirty,
traumatizes
right?
you, right?
Even dirty. Is that a scratch?
Now working with kids, right? Working with kids is what, we've done that in the past, that's what we do, whatever. That has to be, it's a scary feeling because, we work with kids and these other kids are going through whatever, just like this situation. What if that happened to be our school? What could we do to protect ourselves in that situation?
I agree. What can we do?
Because that's a real topic, because we need to be able to protect ourselves. We need to be able to protect those kids as well. Like you said, the kids are at school all the time. You know what I'm saying? So, we're kind of protectors at the same time. And should it be some type of training? But at the same time, right? So look, if they provide that training and they give us money for that, that means that whole time that they have money to go towards the school for bettering the school.
Sure.
So
right.
It's like a catch-22, right?
Right. Well, they definitely have the money, but what are you guys' thoughts on the security guards being armed or some type of detection?
It should
being
be some
Right.
close at
type
the
of.
school.
It should be some type of training that's necessary. Like it's just like how CPR. It should
Oh
be,
yeah, it's
it should be
mandatory.
a training for that situation, a crisis.
Yeah, because it's real.
It should just be a training for it.
Yeah.
You remember? Remember seeing old movies where they talked about it was set in the 50s, and back then the atomic bomb, was a big thing, and so they would they have kids go underneath the desk.
Right.
You understand? At least
Right.
that was something.
Right.
So what do you do in the event there's a school shooting?
Right.
That's like a very real thing.
I mean, there's trainings out there on YouTube and things like that, but I think it should be an official. This is a training. Like, in order to be hired, you need to go through this
Right.
training.
Yeah.
But I don't think, I mean, even like for myself working in hospitals, they train us on violence in the workplace, because especially in the ER, and de-escalating, how to de-escalate people that are hostile or violent. But when it comes down to the real situation, you know, that training is like a cartoon. It just does not happen that way.
Right.
You know, you don't always see people, you know, systematically in a stage escalate to a point of out of control.
Right.
They may be talking to you 1 minute and cool and calm and just snap the next.
Right.
you know,
But with training, right? At least a little bit of the situation will be familiar to you, just a little bit. Of course, I'm panicking, I'm panicking, but okay, hold on.
I learned
pop
this.
back in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is. Let me utilize this.
Let me try to.
Yeah.
At least it's there for you to go back to if you can, if your consciousness will allow you to.
That's just like what Tony said. They used to have, we used to have training, or they used to teach us how to, hide from.
How to react in the event of an atomic disaster.
Right, and so we should have that taught in our schools. I think the students should know that, because honestly, you scatter, right? That's your first thing. But if you have some type of knowledge, wait a minute, slow down, come here, let me do this.
Right.
You guys come over here. They even one of the teachers told the young lady Samantha Grady to grab a book to deflect, and she said she thinks that helped her. Because she was actually grazed by a few bullets. So,
Oh wow!
Yeah, and so that was quick thinking on the teacher.
It's like these mass shootings are becoming a fad.
They're coming a fad.
Right.
They're becoming a fad, just like ramming the cars. Have you seen that, where they're ramming cars just randomly,
Just to ram them?
just to do it, just to be on YouTube or be on social media, just ramming them.
Wow.
And so it happened one time, and then it caught on. But that's just like the
Tide Pods.
The Tide Pods, exactly. That's what I was about to say.
Right.
The tadpoles.
And I feel that there does need to be more security in school. And, you know, my kids are growing now, and I would feel badly. It's too bad my kid has to go to school with an armed guard, you know, but you know what? I know they're going to be safe.
You know they're going to be safe.
You know, they'll get used to
Or
it.
safer.
Safer.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah, I mean,
Safer.
safer. Exactly.
Yeah. Because if that guard had have been, I mean, we can always speculate, but you would think that if the first one didn't catch him, the second one would have caught him. You know what I'm saying? And it would have been avoided. But it's an unfortunate
But
thing.
like Chris was saying, I mean, the handwriting was on the wall. It wasn't just one little statement. It wasn't just one little teenager flippantly saying, I'm going to go shoot up a school. There was just a whole pattern, I mean, a whole string of warnings there.
That were ignored.
That word,
Yeah, and
If it looked
like
a
who's
rat,
responsible
smell
for
like a
that,
rat.
you know?
It's the rat.
Right.
Yep. Well, again, our prayers go out to the families. God be with you, and I don't know. I always tear up a little bit around things like this.
Yeah.
So, speaking of deaths, which is crazy, but the reality is, well, let me send some love out to a friend of mine. I don't know if she wants me to say her name, but I want to just send love. She just lost her mom on Valentine's Day.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and so I want to send
I
that
know.
love out. Yes, you absolutely do. I didn't even tell you, huh? I've been so busy. But yeah, I'll tell you later. But because I don't know if she, but yeah, we're our love and our prayers are with you as well, sis. We love you
Like that?
like that. And so, with that being said, insurance. We all need to push that idea of getting insurance. Life insurance is no joke.
And a will.
And a will.
And a will is very important, especially if you have children.
Especially if you have children. And don't be afraid to discuss the will, or don't feel like, oh no, because they're going to want this from me, or that type of thing. The reality is everything can be lost.
Exactly.
Everything can be given away to the state.
Exactly.
Man, everything will be lost.
Everything will be lost. Yeah.
So it's just to take advantage of it, appreciate it.
Appreciate it and respect
Appreciate
it.
your
It's-
loved
it's-
one.
yeah.
Like you said, speaking of death, like JP just lost his grandfather. You know what I'm saying? Rest in peace, Joe Henderson. Mr. Henderson, you go to his funeral, he was like everybody's uncle or / dad. I didn't even know he was that big of an impact to everybody else. You know what I'm saying?
right.
It's like, you know what I'm saying? He was a big contributor to everybody who he knew.
He was well known
Even
and respected.
he provided jobs. He helped people. He did hauling.
Yeah.
He worked so he did a Sanford and Son hauling.
Okay.
Did his thing.
And was prosperous.
And was prosperous.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying? So
Nice.
it's like, man.
Yeah, so rest in
and,
peace to
take advantage.
Mr.
Henderson.
Henderson and JP and his family as well. Our prayers are with you all as well. And so about insurance. I mean, a lot of people take that for granted,
Right.
right? But even we had a situation where my brother passed away on a fluke. That was unexpected, and insurance was an issue. I mean, everything was good, and we got it paid, and it was done, and whatever. But we got
What if that wasn't in place?
Right.
You know, it would have been a big mess.
It would have been a big mess.
And you've got to take care of your
I
family.
think and also when people go to like an average insurance sales company, that they're maybe trying to sell them on like whole life insurance and selling them on the fact that it's going to be like an annuity and get interest. But it's very expensive, and especially for a younger person. You get a whole lot of insurance on a term life insurance, which is more practical,
Right.
and just very inexpensive,
Exactly.
too. And it just makes more sense.
It just makes more sense. I agree.
There you go. I'm sure my second ex-wife has
some on you.
a policy. Yeah.
I wish I had gotten some on my baby daddy. She was smart.
Who?
My baby daddy.
Who?
The second one.
Oh.
Yeah, I wish I had gotten insurance on him.
Yeah, you should have got insurance.
Yeah,
on
I should.
That
He
Negro.
don't give me a dime. At least it would have came in a little later.
Yeah.
Let me not. I'm just kidding. But he doesn't give me a dime. But that is what it is. And the beat goes on. And the beat goes on. What? Yeah. Yeah. So.
And I think also people are not. We were talking about insurance, or I'm sorry about.
Life insurance?
I just totally lost it on making a will. People will think, oh, well, lawyers are really expensive. And just like doing your own taxes, there's a lot of online programs now.
Oh, yeah.
They're just set up. You just fill in the blanks.
Right.
And you can just, have it notarized inexpensively. You don't need to go out and hire a fancy lawyer.
Yeah, like legal Zoom.
Yeah.
Legal Zoom.
Is a great site to go to, and
pay us legal.
it's going to cost you maybe $100. It's probably going to be less, but it's going to cost you maybe like $100.
For using their template?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's all official and everything.
I will say that there are free programs out there, so you don't have to spend your money.
Oh.
You go to the IRS website, and they provide you. I've done it
Okay.
free.
Okay.
Didn't take anything out.
So they provide
Wow.
you free templates that you can fill in and
It's just like anything else, but you got to read through it. You got to. It's always a little something hurdle you got to go through, but once you break through, it's free.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'll
That's
take
amazing.
free any day.
That
Give me
is
all
amazing.
my taxes back.
Wow. That is something.
I want them all,
All of it. Every bit.
so I get Christiana whatever she wants.
Oh, Christiana.
Yeah, your boo boo.
That's what it's about.
Yeah.
We just have a few more minutes, but important. This has been a really sad show.
I know,
It's
right?
been
It's
fucked
been
up.
so sad.
But the thing is,
you need to like, subscribe, and share.
like, subscribe, share, and when you subscribe, there's a little ding button. Looks like a school bell. Anyway, hit that, and every time we come on, it'll alert you and let you know that Cold Coffee is being recorded live.
That's fantastic.
Been on ice, right?
On
Coffee
ice.
been on ice.
Cold Coffee.
Chilling,
on ice.
baby.
Oh my God. What
In the
about?
cooler.
Hey, you guys, what do you think about this Ouija board thing? That is like another little fad that's popping off. The Ouija board.
I'm gonna take a word out of your vocab.
Okay.
I think it's a bunch of malarkey.
Oh, shit.
Malarkey.
Yes, I like that word. That was a nice.
It's
word.
making a comeback. It's
It's old. That's not. Yeah.
No, well, what it is old because I remember not
My
saying
mom been
that.
using that
Not
my whole
saying
life.
that. I'm old. No.
Oh, Ouija. That's
Yo,
what
I'll
it's
say it.
called,
I'm
malarkey.
old.
But I'm no, it's all relative with me. But anyway, my brothers and I, my mom bought us a Ouija board. I want to say we were like, 10,
yeah.
something
That's
like
what I was
that.
playing with it,
But
too.
because of course it was a game board, right? So we want a Ouija board. So we turn off the lights and we have our friends over and we all have our hands on the, and then it starts spelling words. But then the thing is, and then we all get freaked out, right? Oh, there's a ghost. But the Ouija board, is it, don't laugh at me, Tony. But the question is it people moving the board and you don't know because there's so many fingers on the board, you don't know if it's the ghost moving it, the energy from the ghost. What is it called, Chris? What's the name of it? But is it that or is it everybody kind of guiding it and you don't know if it's.
Well, I got to be honest. I think that people are guiding. I remember playing with the Ouija board with some of my buddies, and it's spelled out, "Brush your teeth."
Wait a minute, Tony, are you trying to send me a
No.
message?
I just don't think that the cats in the afterlife is worried about the way people's breath smell.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right. You
Right.
said say brush your teeth. I think he was sending me a subliminal.
No, baby, no.
No, you could just tell me.
No, baby, no.
I did have some pumpkin bread and some coffee.
Well, I had some coffee too, baby.
Okay, so it's clashing. They kind of fighting.
No.
Okay,
So
I
that's not
thought that was
popping
a,
up.
I thought that was
The
a hint.
term.
The
on the
term.
energy.
You said
It was idio something.
it was. What was it? You remember? It was something.
But I mean,
yeah.
still, the principle with the Ouija board is that
had a word,
spirits
Chris.
exist.
Yeah.
Spirits exist.
That's what it's supposed to be. The spirit, and the spirit is guiding you and telling you, "Hey, this is, like this is what you need to do," or this is something that's going to happen.
Okay, so the question is, do you believe it's true?
No.
I'm sorry, I don't even believe in ghosts. I know some very, really smart people who've told me stories about ghosts existing and everything like that, and I love them and I respect them. But and I've even had a situation where I was talking about after my mom passed away when I was 15, and I'm talking about her to a friend, and the lights flicker on.
Yeah,
and off.
I've heard stories.
Right.
It's called the idiomotor function.
Idiomotor.
So basically, it's like, say if you have a piece of string, right, and you have something heavier than a piece of string, and you weighing them out. So now in your head they're the same because they're up here. But then if you tell your subconscious mind is telling them that this thing that's whatever, say if it's
a rope,
no, not a rope. What's the nut? A nut.
a nut, a
Say-
bolt.
A bolt. Let's say if it's a bolt, the bolt will your mind will tell yourself that the bolt is heavier than the string, so you're
Is it lighter than
involuntary.
the string?
Or excuse me, lighter than the string is involuntary.
Yeah, well, all of that speaks to hypnotism,
Yeah.
and that occurs quite a bit. Like, you know, it's like you're driving on the freeway, and then like a whole stretch of time disappears, and you're like, whoa.
Right.
About
Okay.
hypnotists.
Or you can use that term when driving in the city. Idiomotor.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Idiot motorist, right?
Now I've done the what would we just say? The hypnotist. I've done the actual show. And I really had people believing that I got hypnotized, but all I did was follow the directions of the guy, and played along with the show.
Well, see that's the thing. a lot of people think that you just you go into a whole nother place and don't really remember. No.
You're right there.
Well, I
You're
tell
just
you.
playing.
I tell you. Some people say they can do it. Some people say they
Yeah.
can't. But I tell you, we're running out of time.
Oh yeah.
So we'll
Oh,
save
we
that
gotta
topic
get-
for next time. We can follow up on that because I wanted to talk about the Hanks. I was gonna say, do you know about the Hanks? That's what they call them in the South. And
Hanks,
when,
yeah.
When we were growing up, a lot of Hanks were in Chattahoochee. I just want to say that Chattahoochee,
Hank?
Florida, it's a lot of Hanks. So I don't know if it's ghost here in California, but it's definitely some damn Hanks in Florida.
You gotta
Well-
educate me on that one.
Well, I will.
All right, good.
Hold that thought. I'll talk to
Yeah.
you about it when we come back next week. My name is Glamis,
I'm Tony Sparks.
I'm Big Smooth.
Barbara Torina.
and we have been Cold Coffee. I did